Devastating earthquakes. Nearly 9,000 people were killed and many of the country's historic sites were destroyed. 4 million people are still living in temporary shelters and reconstruction is still needed. Sir Cliff Richard is at an event to help those affected by the disaster. He joins Sky's Gillian Joseph alongside the owner and chairman of the Aurora International Hotels, Surinder Arora. Gillian.
Tom, thank you very much. Yes, we are at the Intercontinental O2. It can boast the largest ballroom in Europe, and this will be hosting this benefit for the Nepal earthquake. And with me, as you said, Sir Cliff Richard and Surinder Arora, welcome. Thank you for appearing on Sky News. Tell us first of all, Sir Cliff, why are you here and what are you hoping to achieve tonight?
Well, he forced me to come here. Now, we've been good friends for a long, long time. Surinder has built so many hotels and very kindly asked me to often open them. And in fact, I opened this one too. And so when the charity ball came up, he asked me if I would join them that night, and I did. And in fact, one of the auction items is my Mercedes 500 SL.
Wow, you're parting with your baby.
Yeah, I am. But you know, someone else has got to love it.
Why did you decide to particularly get involved with this charity? Because you must be asked to be involved with so many different types of charities.
Well, yeah, I mean, all charities are good things to have around. UNICEF is one of these ones which has its fingers in all sorts of pies around the world. So in a way, it's good to be part of that, because we're never going to be able to travel everywhere and do everything, whereas they allow us to help children in need all over the planet. And it's really Sunita, Surinder's wife, this is her child. Shut up!
Yes, we need quiet for us.
Yeah, it was Sunita's idea. She loves kids of all nationalities, and so she had her own little school here in England as well. And I guess basically it's her idea, and I just think it's nice to be asked to be part of it.
And this is part of the work that the Aurora Foundation carries out. This is your particular charity this year.
Yes, Gillian, it's really my dear wife Sunita's brainchild from 3.5 years ago. We said, life's been kind, we're fortunate, so why don't we actually do something for good causes? So this is our third charity ball, and by the end of this evening we should raise nearly £2 million during those 3 charity events. And it's all with the help and support of a lot of friends, contacts, and in particular my dear Cliff, because Sir Cliff has actually flown in from New York just for the event and said, Surinder, with all the good work, I'm going to not only auction my car off, but I'll also put the number plate CR2000 in there, which is so generous, and we're grateful.
I like that number, because even if your name is Chris something,
you've
got a number plate good for the whole millennium, so when you're 1,000 years old, it'll still be good.
You'll still be driving around in it. Now, you have a particular affiliation, because you were born in India, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I was born in north of Calcutta, and my parents decided to leave there in 1948, and I had my 8th birthday here in England. But yeah, I still have good memories of India as a child, flying kites and swimming in funny little dirty lakes. But good memories.
Now, you have been out of the limelight for the past couple of years. What has that been like for you with the investigation into historical sexual abuse? That investigation really saw you completely move away from public life.
Well, I decided that it was such a difficult period. You know, I was in such a despair and very despondent and depressed and thinking, how will I ever get back to normal again? In actual fact, it was easier than I thought. But what I did was I decided not to speak about it to anybody, not publicly. So my friends and I talked. They gave me hugs and made me feel good. But I just kept quiet for 2 years, and I felt it was a dignified silence. And I didn't speak about it until it was all over. And it was inevitable that it would be over. I just didn't think it would take that long.
And how do you feel now?
Oh, I feel fantastic now. I mean, it's an era of my life that I'm never going to forget this. I'm never going to forget what happened. But, you know, it's in the past already, and I'm going to push it further and further back into the past.
When you were at your lowest points during that 2-year period, what were some of the things that got you through that particular time?
I prayed a lot. I had talks with some people now and say, oh, I don't know how you did that, because we gave up on God a long time ago. And I said, the trouble is, you realize that when you're in real trouble, your friends may comfort you, but there comes that moment in the day when they all say, good night, and you're on your own again. Well, I was never on my own. I rabbited with God all the time. And I formulated what I would say, for instance, when it was all over. In God's presence. I kept saying, oh, help me find a way of talking about this later without being angry. And that's another thing, of course. He put into my mind forgiveness. And I forgave my accuser. Within 3 days, I forgave him. And it made it a lot easier for me. You know, they say, I've read that somewhere, that forgiveness is better for you than it is for the person you're forgiven, because they don't even know they've been forgiven.
And you release yourself from that burden, I suppose.
I release myself from all hate and vengeance. I don't have any hatred. Yes, I'm really curious why somebody would do that to somebody else. I don't know. I can't begin to think of any reason that's justified. But I don't have any hate or vengeance.
And Surinder, you're, well, a brother from another mother, really. You're that close with Sir Cliff. What sort of support did you offer him during that time? How did you help him through?
Well, Gillian, we all knew from day one that there was nothing at all here with Sir Cliff. I mean, it was just really so sad that someone can actually just come up with those kind of accusations. And I remember speaking to Cliff when he was in Portugal, and my family was in Dubai, and I said to Sunita, I'm going to fly out to Portugal just for one night to have dinner with Cliff, just to put my arm around him and say, we're all here together. My kids have grown up with Cliff, you know, my son and my two daughters, when they were 8, 9, 10 years old. And I remember sitting at this dinner table in Portugal, and I was so angry and so annoyed. And I said, Cliff, you know, wait, you know, we should find out one day who it is, you know, why is it? And Cliff said to me, Surinder, being a true Christian, I've forgiven them. He said, I'd like to know one day, did they do it because either they're mentally disturbed, or did they do it for money, or, you know, is there something wrong, or fame? But, you know, that's the great person that Cliff is, and he's so, not just humble, but a lovely person.
And
how much have you paid him?
No, you said the right thing, because the comfort comes from people knowing that it could never be true. That's the thing that's where you get the space. Some people will think, oh my God, there's no smoke without fire, but there are. That sentence can be wiped from our dictionary now. There is a thing called a smoke machine, and many people create that smoke without any fire.
Very quickly, looking to the future, do you think you're going to take the Christmas #1 slot? You're in with a very good chance, aren't you?
I really don't know, because, you know, I sell CDs, and my record company, Sony Records, put out a very special edition of a Christmas song, but there were only 500 copies. And I mean, they went over the weekend, I think. So you need to, and of course, I don't know whether my fans, if any of you are watching, know how to download, because I believe nowadays...
They might be slightly older, your fans, mightn't they?
Well, they're not older than me. And I can download. So, I download things.
So we're hoping that they can download. But if they can, we think #1?
There's always a possibility, but if someone's got a better song, you won't be.
We shall see. We shall see. Will it be the Christmas #1? Sir Cliff and Surinder, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Gillian. Now, thousands of people turned